first I want to talk about Skip. Because I sent out this tweet right after Skip announced that it was his final show. And I wrote a truly legendary run. Very few people in any industry can say they helped create and define an entire genre. Skip did that. Salute and good luck in whatever he does moving forward. And this was met, not surprisingly, with a lot of, anger or angst from a lot of folks, mostly LeBron James fans or supporters, saying, how can you say this? How can you feel this way? And so I want to explain that, and then I want to talk about Skip. So the reason I say that and feel that way is because I don't actually care that I think Skip was dead wrong for a decade about LeBron. I don't. That's not like, people are entitled to their own sports opinions. I don't think his was phony. I don't think he was pretending. I think, and I've said this before, and I think people wondered if I was only saying it because we were colleagues, but we're not colleagues anymore. And Serbia wins and Serbia advances, by the way. That I think Skip could pass a lie detector test on those takes. I think he truly believed it. I think they were bad takes. I think he was wrong about it. But as on the things that actually mattered, in my opinion, when race and sports crossed over and there were real discussions about real things, I felt Skip was consistently on the right side of things. Now, I understand he and Shannon got sideways at the end, and there was, famous blow-ups, and there were moments that really, really rubbed people the wrong way about how their interactions went. And I know some people ascribed some of that to malice or to there being a real racial component there. And I'm here to tell you that for whatever flaws you felt or things you liked or disliked about Skip Bayless on TV, that on the actual human personal things, I think he consistently was on the right side, not on the wrong side. If he was out there doing what I think is trolling on real non-sports important issues for clicks and likes and views, the way we have seen a lot of people, many, some of which used to prominently be in sports and now crossed over to carnival barker political stuff, I wouldn't respect him. But that's not how I ever felt. And so that's why, even though I disagreed with basically everything he ever said about my favorite athlete of all time, LeBron James, I could feel comfortable saying those things. And here's the other thing I want to say about Skip. Because nothing made me madder than when folks would say, oh, anyone could do what he did. If anyone could, more would have. Oh, it's easy. I'm telling you right now, that man was on television every day for the better part of 20 years, one of the absolute most important or noteworthy voices in sports, was paid accordingly. And I'm here to tell you, if that were easy, everyone would do it. And this dismissal of what he did over a career because folks didn't like the way he did it or the opinions he had, I think is ludicrous. There are so many folks who would saw off their left arm for that platform. And if it was as simple as, oh, I'm just going to say this guy who's awesome stinks and that guy who stinks is awesome, and that's the path to riches and success and fame, then a lot of people would do it. Okay? And so it is not the style that I try to emulate. It is not what I think I do best. And I'm not even here to say, make a moral judgment on whether it's good or bad or indifferent. What I do know is it is something that for the better part of 20 years, the audience responded to, felt passionate about, and he was at near the top of the sports fan conversation until basically the last year. And that's also why, on a personal level, I'm bummed that he didn't do a victory lap. And this is something that I've talked to no one about. And for any of the FS1 bosses or executives or anyone who, credit to them, never mess with me about anything, never tell me, do talk about this, don't talk about this. I have true autonomy. And it's one of the reasons I love where I work. I think one of the reasons I have that is because I am very judicious about when I do and don't talk about family business, if you will. And because of that, I think I've built up quite a well of credibility and goodwill on that. So I'm going to dip into a bit of it here and discuss something that is just how I truly feel. And by the way, I want to say this on the front end. I don't believe Skip not having a victory lap or farewell shows or any of that was because he was not allowed that. I'm basically certain that's not why. It was because he didn't want to do it. Because I don't think that he views this as a farewell. He views it as, all right, I'm on to my next thing. And good luck, and that very well may be the case. I am saying that what I would have liked as a consumer of sports media is if a couple weeks ago he had said, guys, my final shows are coming up, and the last week, God dog it, we are doing the greatest hits. We are going to do the Tim Tebow show. And I'm going to sit here and pound the table and tell you why I was always right. And then we're going to do the Tom Brady show. And I'm going to sit here and pound the table and tell you why I was always right. And then we're going to do the LeBron show or shows. And I'm going to sit here and pound the table and tell you why I was always right. That's what and of course I'm leaving it out. Then we're going to do the Dallas Cowboys show. And I'm going to sit here and pound the table and tell you why I was always right. I think, and I don't give a if kids who write about this stuff on the internet see this and rip me for it. I owe the audience nothing but honesty and my hard work, and I'm giving you both. I, as a consumer, would have loved it. I wanted that. And I had heard through the whispers that this past Friday was going to be his last show. But then I watched it, and I was certain everyone was wrong. So I'm like, well, he didn't. It was like, hold on a second. There's 90 seconds left, and they're talking about the U.S.-Puerto Rico game. This can't be it. Like, we're not going to get, but it was. And that was Skip's call, and he earned the right, by the way, to do whatever he wanted to do. And if he didn't want to look at it as a farewell, but a see you later, then I get why you didn't do it. I'm just saying, for me, Nick Wright, that's what I wanted. And God dog it, man. Because I don't have like I have a friendly relationship with Skip. He's always been gracious and kind to me and my wife when we've seen each other, but he's not like someone that I have a deep personal relationship with. We've been on the opposite sides of the country for 8 years. So it's not like someone that, he doesn't go to me for counsel. But if he did, I would have told him, do a victory lap, man. In this thing we do, you're one of the founding fathers. And people can say, oh, he did this, he made it bad, or he did this. Man, you can have your opinions. I'm not here to tell the audience to, eat your vegetables, they're good for you. I'm here to tell the audience, choose with your eyes, man. And for a very long time, the audience told you they vibe with what he was doing. And so I just thought he had earned that. And I know he would have been afforded that if he wanted to do it, but he chose not to. So that's his prerogative. But for me as a consumer, it was a bummer. And then I'm going to move to the future part of it. But this is a big moment, man. And here's the other thing that I'm going to say. That FS1 exists the way it does now because of Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless taking a chance and coming over and giving our network credibility. And then the third person who would be on that credit list would be Shannon, because of what Shannon and Skip built together. But it took Colin and Skip taking a leap and taking a chance, and then Shannon and Skip had this amazing partnership for years that obviously at the end went sideways a bit. I think that's fair to say. But you sit across the table from someone 5 days a week, 230 times a year for 2.5 hours, where on the promo pictures you guys are in boxing gloves, where the whole conceit of the show is we are doing battle, and you see if you think that can ever sustain for longer than Skip and Shannon did. You can say, well, Tony and Mike have done it for 20 years. Tony and Mike, a lot of things there. A, they're not usually across the table from each other. They're in different studios often. B, it's a 30-minute show. And C, they're not pugilists. They're very often playing jazz. They're agreeing with each other, occasionally disagreeing. And listen, I think Tony and Mike, what they've done is the greatest partnership in the history of sports media, aside from maybe Mike and the Mad Dog. Mike and the Mad Dog, by the way, ended similar to Skip and Shannon. It is very, very, very difficult to be like, okay, here's the idea. You two, we're going to find things you disagree on. That will be almost all we talk about. You both have to be certain you're correct and just do that every single day for years and years and years, and not at some point have it be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. That happens. So I don't look at how that ended as a black mark. I just look at it as things end. And so I am incredibly grateful that Skip took the chance he did, that Colin took the chance he did, and then both of those people allowed me, when nobody knew who I was outside of Kansas City and Houston, to go on their platforms and very often tell them why they were wrong about stuff and I was right. And now, smash cut to now, Skip leaves, and there's all these articles written. Nick Wright, the new face of FS1. All right, so this is where I am going to just be totally honest with you guys. And I, again, hope you take my word for it. because a lot of you guys have heard me say that my career goals, the one career goal, I've added a few as of late. Like, I'd like to at one point be a part of an Olympics broadcast, even though I have a good friend who regularly was a part of the Olympics broadcast, and he was like, don't do it. Miserable work. But I would like to be, there's other things I've added as the career went on, but the thing that was there the day I walked out of Syracuse that is still there that I have not yet achieved is, as I have described, Family Feud style, ask 100 people on the street who's the biggest or the best sports talk guy in the country. I want to win that poll. And I'm not there yet. The Skip was on the top of that at one point. Colin's been on the top of that. Stephen A's obviously been on the top of that. We go back further. Dan Patrick, like there's other people, and I don't even want to mention everyone who've been on the top of that. I've never been on the top of that. I now feel like I'm in a place where I would get votes. I would show up again if it's Family Feud, and there were like 7 little blanks. Maybe it says Nick Wright, and there's 4 people voted for it. You get a few points, but I'm not there yet. So I think people see Face of the Network, and they're like, man, Nick, this is what you want. And I'm here to tell you, yeah, in theory, of course it's what I want. And I'm also here to tell you it is absolutely, unequivocally inaccurate to say it now. The face of FS1 is Colin Cowherd. And he has been for some time. And that is undeniable. And right now, the reason I get uncomfortable with folks, I get doubly uncomfortable with folks putting me in that doubly uncomfortable. I get for 2 reasons. One is because it's Colin. The other is I am not right now trying to be that. Because right now, I'm not a solo act and don't want to be. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.